Their faces ask more questions than you can answer. Adivasis, the name given to India's indigenous tribals, the first citizens of this country. Deep inside the forests of central India, hidden amidst thick canopy and tall waterfalls, several ancient tribes have symbiotically survived for thousands of years. Their pure way of life is now being decimated. Mining, rampant deforestation, and a perpetual civil war has deprived these people of their fundamental rights. After centuries of injustice, the tribes now struggle for access to proper healthcare and education. Today, the youngest of tribal generations suffer a far greater danger, one that threatens their very existence. Malnutrition is taking lives inside India's heart, and the first citizens of India may soon become the first to disappear. In our attempt to uncover the causes of malnutrition in tribal India, we travelled first to Manpur in the state of Chhattisgarh. One of India's youngest state with a population of over 6 million tribals is also the poorest tribal population in the country. 27-year-old Johatri Nethi from the Gond tribe spends her mornings working in the fields. Every day, she walks back home in the afternoon heat carrying a huge bundle of hay for her cattle. Inside her thatched mud house waits Ankit, her 18-month-old son. Ankit is a Sam child.
मन घबरा गई डॉक्टर मन ह कि ऐसन लइका हमन कभू नहीं देखे हन ऐसे करके.
He has visible edema of his feet and other clear signs of severe acute malnutrition. Her husband is also a labourer and returns later in the evening. She has 2 more children and takes care of Ankit on returning from the fields. Ankit was also taken for treatments to the city hospitals.
रात के 11 बजे वहाँ घूमिस राउंडिंग करीस पूरा फाइल वाला देखिस तहाने यह ठीक हो जाए करके वहू हरी फर के आने की घर चले जाओ नहीं थे रहा वैसे करके वो हकीस ता हमन नहीं रहवन बने है ता ऐसे करके कहे ना वो घर ना लेन हमन.
अब रायपुर में क्यों नहीं रुके?
वो पैसा के कारण नहीं रुक पाए सर.
But one basic cause that has to be dealt with is poverty and unequal distribution of resources. These are structural causes of undernutrition.
For women like Johatri, who have little to no education, they are at the mercy of the hospital staff and often treated harshly due to their tribal backgrounds. A system built to help them becomes their biggest obstacle. Proper and dignified access to healthcare is a fundamental human right that the tribals do not receive. History has been unkind to India's first citizens. With over 500 unique ethnic tribes, each one of them has a distinct culture and identity. For centuries, they have been silent spectators in the massacre of their forests and ravaging of their ancestral lands. Any form of protest or agitation to assert their rights have been met with fury. Over 40% of the tribal population lives below the poverty line. 41% is illiterate, and less than 2% have received education higher than primary school. Subjected to crude discriminations like untouchability and exclusion, much of their current issues of health and nutrition are direct results of this injustice. Taking advantage of the situation, far-left radicalism has taken a strong foothold in these remote areas. Violent attacks and killings by the insurgent groups called Naxals and retaliating forces have become common. While the government and others fight this volatile battle, the children and women fight their own battle against malnutrition. Torabai is a mother of 4. Her twins Vikesh and Vijay are in the moderately malnourished category and very weak. With 2 more children, taking care of them becomes difficult. It becomes even more challenging when she is not allowed into her own house and kitchen. She currently lives in this gaokor, a period hut. Each month, tribal custom dictates that she has to move to this hut and live here while she menstruates. Banished to the outer fringes of the village, the women are not allowed to cook and depend on the family to bring them food.
एनीमिया भी एक कुपोषण का कारण है, क्योंकि महिलाएं ठीक से खाना नहीं खाती, समय पे उनको आराम करने को नहीं मिलता, फिर बच्चे के ऊपर बच्चे होते जाते हैं, फिर बच्चों का देखभाल ठीक नहीं कर पाते, तो ऐसे में महिलाएं भी एनीमिक हैं और बच्चे भी कुपोषण में।
She is one of the thousands who suffer because of such rituals. Vikesh and Vijay will also now bear the cost. Three hours away from India's financial capital in the heart of Maharashtra, we reach Mokhada in Palghar district.
Alarming number of malnutrition deaths in Palghar. Cases of malnutrition among the tribals in Palghar district has persistently worked successfully.
Rekha is an Anganwadi worker. For past 25 years, she has been witness to the battle against malnutrition. The workers not only take care of the children at the center, but are also trained to guide mothers about good nutrition and hygiene practices. But in these areas, the habits of good nutrition for pregnant women and children are not controlled by them, but by someone else.
ते कसं दवाखान्यात नाही झालं ना, मग दवाखान्यात जाऊन जाऊन कंटाळून जातात ना, मग ते भक्तांचं बघतात, मग भगत त्यांना सुख देतो, मग ते जास्त करून भक्तावरच विश्वास ठेवतात. असं
Asmita, 2 years old, is a Sam child. Her mother Alka is 24 and has just given birth to a baby boy. Alka has visited a local healer to take advice and perform rituals for the well-being of her baby and also Asmita. The healer has listed out items of food she cannot consume.
मग ते पाळ देतात ना, का तुम्ही काही तिखट जास्ती खाऊ नका, गरम वस्तू खाऊ नका, काही मटन मच्छी काही जास्ती खाऊ नका. हां, ते आलं लसूण कांदा ते खाणं महत्वाचं आहे. ते खाणं बंद केलं तर ते बाळ कसं काय वाढेल?
तेच बंद करायला सांगतात.
हां, ते अंधश्रद्धाच आहे, पण कसं ते तिला बाळ पाहिजे ना, म्हणून ती पथ्य करते. आता जर तिने पथ्य केला नसता तर ते बाळ भेटलं नसतं.
In tribal Maharashtra, a Bhagat is a person who practices alternative medicine, mysticism, and performs rituals that are not endorsed or proved by modern medicine and science.
चिडचिड होते. इथे सरकार दवाखान्यात जामच चिडचिड राहते. गेल्यावर जास्ती चांगल्या पेशंटवर लक्ष देत नाही. मग ते कंटाळून जातात ना, का 1-2 दिवस ॲडमिट ठेवतात पण लक्ष देत नाही. तर ती एक इंजेक्शन दिला, एक सलाईन लावून दिली, मग त्याच्याकडे बघायचंच नाही, फक्त गोळ्या खा, पण तरी पण फरक पडत नाही. मग ते येतात निघून, मग ते भक्तांचा बघतात.
Asmita is lucky to move around and play with her grandmother, but her weight is half of what it should be and she needs proper nutrition. Her mother Alka is also now missing important nutrients in her diet. A direct consequence of this is a weaker newborn baby. A shoddy and unreliable medical system only strengthens their tribals' belief in such superstitions and traditional healers. Healers are well respected in these villages and often hold a lot of influence over the lives of the villagers who believe they have mystical powers.
माझं ना जैत्या पक्ष दिघा पागरेमध्ये एक भगत आहे.
तुम्ही भगत आहे?
हां, भगत.
Inside this hut made of sticks and mud, 27-year-old Urmila cradles her newborn baby. She was born last night. In these huts with no proper hygiene and protection from outside elements, mothers spend the last few weeks of their pregnancy and give birth.
तो माँ और बच्चे बिल्कुल असुरक्षित ढंग से वहाँ रहते हैं. ना कपड़े का ठिकान है, ना बिस्तरा का ठिकान है, ना वहाँ गर्माहट के लिए कोई चीज़ नहीं है.
The local Anganwadi worker says she tried to convince the family to take her to a hospital, but they did not want to.
अगर वो संस्थागत प्रसव भी किए तो वापस ला करके उसी कुरिया में रखते हैं.
Urmila shivers as she tries speaking to us. This is her third pregnancy. The previous 2 children did not survive.
और बहुत बड़ी संख्या में हमारे बच्चों को उस साइड में निमोनिया होती है. ये निमोनिया भी कुपोषण का एक कारण है.
Many women die while giving birth in such conditions, and many babies cannot survive due to low birth weight and the harsh weather.
और अशिक्षा के कारण से कई प्रकार के कुरीतियों से जकड़े हुए हैं, जिसके कारण से कुपोषण की मात्रा ज़्यादा है.
फरवरी वजन त्यौहार में 120 बच्चे गंभीर कुपोषित थे कि इस एरिया में मेन हॉस्पिटल नहीं है, तो कुपोषित बच्चे को इलाज के लिए बहुत दूर ले जाना पड़ता है, जहां महिला लोग नहीं जाना चाहते.
There is a lack of trust between the tribals and the medical infrastructure.
फ्री जो एम्बुलेंस आते हैं वो आया नहीं कभी.
नहीं आया है. उसको बुलाने से भी कभी कभी तो नहीं आता है. 108 को बुला, पता नहीं पाठ में डरता है कि नहीं आता है.
The Asurs are classified as a particularly vulnerable tribal group. They are found mainly in Jharkhand's hilly regions. Forgotten by most authorities, they live under the constant threat of Naxals and do not have any access to health and other civic facilities, including electricity.
बिजली देख रहे हैं, ये 3 साल हो गया अभी ठप पड़ा हुआ है.
तो पहली बार बिजली कभी लगी थी?
पहली बार बिजली 2015 में लगी थी.
ये दवाई है, इसको टांगेंगे तो सीधा हो जाएंगे पैर. ऐसे मतलब अड़झड़ करता है ना, ऐसे नहीं होगा, ऐसे बोले वो लोग.
किसने बोला?
वो जो बना थे वो लोग.
यहाँ स्वस्थ सुविधा के लिए भी बहुत दिक्कत है. यदि किसी को रिहाइड्रेशन हो गया तो उनके लिए दवा केवल चैनपुर जाकर ही लाया जा सकता. चैनपुर यहाँ से 22 किलोमीटर है. 22 किलोमीटर वहाँ तक जाइए और वहाँ से आप कोई भी छोटा या बड़ा बीमारी क्यों ना हो उसके लिए दवा लेके आनी पड़ती है.
A tribe on the brink of extinction. Today there are only 22,000 surviving Asurs. For a group that has been disenfranchised for so long, it becomes the duty of the state to empower them. Without that support, they are forced to look for other options. Tonight on a new moon day, many people have come from nearby villages to seek blessings and remedies for their problems from Chaitya.
आपल्याला ताप आला, काय डोकं दुखलं, पोटात दुखलं तर पहिल्यांदा दवाखान्यात जात. दवाखान्यात जर फरक बरं वाटलं नाही, नंतर मग आपण भक्ताकडे पाहतो.
23-year-old Prashant, a father of a young boy, has come to seek a cure for his sick baby boy.
यांच्याकडे पहिले आलेलो जेव्हा पोटात दुखत होते ना आणि उलट्या करायच्या, तेवढे त्यांच्याकडे आलो. तेव्हा आता बरं आहे. त्यांनी अशीच दया पाहिली, त्याच्यानंतर बरं वाटलं त्याला.
Chaitya mutters mantras and spells under his breath. In his hand he has a small packet of ashes which he is blessing with the powers of the gods. This is to be applied to the child's forehead, which will cure him of the illness. Nothing else needs to be done.
दवाखान्याला काय जात नाही लोक? का जात नाही?
For Chaitya, this work is divine, a task given to him in a vision by the goddess Vani Devi when he was only 20 years old. His family has rice fields and is financially better than most others in the village. In a small mud hut on the side of a hill, 4-year-old Jayesh struggles to stand on his feet. Severely malnourished, he is Sunita's 4th child. His father works as a laborer and makes just enough to feed the family. Sunita visited the NRC only once and came back in 5 days. With hardly any public transport, it is difficult for them to leave work and travel. Sunita is scared of her husband, saying he gets angry if she speaks about going to the hospital. Instead, his father has chosen to visit a bhagat.
आता त्यांनी सांगितलं आता सध्या तो औषध द्यायला तयार आहे पण मला एक वस्तू नाही भेटली.
कुठली?
तो बेडो.
हां?
बेडो.
बेडू.
तो मातीमध्ये राहतो तो दुसरा.
As part of a ritual, the bhagat will perform spells on the frog and make a medicine that will apparently cure Jayesh and his condition.
तेच मग त्याला ते औषध तो दुसरा काहीतरी आणणार आहे. मग त्याला ती पाज करायची थोडी त्याच्यावरून खर्च करायला म्हणजे थोडंच राहत ना. मग आपण दवाखान्यात काय नेला ना मग ते दवाखान्यातून आणला काय मग अजून दुसऱ्याला जायला पैसे नाही राहत.
Jayesh may never recover from this condition. Healers are spread across India's tribal belt. For many tribals, the bhagat is the only one they trust.
छत्तीसगढ़ के विजयाला भूपेश बघेल का कहना है कि रियासत में नक्सल से बड़ा मसला भुखमरी है और हमारी सरकार ग़िज़ाइयत की कमी को दूर करने की हर मुमकिन कोशिश भी कर रही है.
कुपोषण के खिलाफ जंग हमने शुरू की है. जहां जितने कुपोषित बच्चे हैं इन्हीं में से पीड़ित महिलाएं हैं उसको पोषण आहार दिया जा रहा है, गर्म भोजन दिया जा रहा है.
जब से चालू है तब से पैसा तो मिला नहीं है. जब हमने स्टार्ट किया तो चलो फंड आएगा बोल के तो फंड तो आया ही नहीं और फंड देना चाहिए तभी ये जो कार्यक्रम है निरंतर चलता रहेगा.
Free meal schemes are a lifeline for many. Mothers, children and anemic women heavily benefit from the nutritious food being provided.
लास्ट कब आया था फंड?
फंड आया ही नहीं.
सितंबर से नहीं आया.
The dispensation of funds in these programs is erratic. Corruption and failure of state machinery is also responsible. At a time when battling and eradicating the menace of malnutrition should take the forefront, in the past few years, spending on supplementary nutrition programs has steadily decreased in many states, including Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra.
In fact, in 12th 5-year plan, it was recommended that 5% of the Anganwadis should also have creches. So in some of the underserved areas should have creches for children, and not much has been done in this regard and a lot needs to be done. The healthcare facilities will have to be improved. So we need a holistic and a comprehensive approach and a preventive route to deal with issues of severe acute malnutrition.
On paper, India has the ability and funds needed to fight hunger. But on ground, there's a massive failure of implementation and complete absence of empathy and will to help the tribals. The biggest losers in this insensitive system are the women and children of India.
सरकार हमको 2 रुपया का चावल और 1 रुपया का चावल देके हमको अमीर बना देगा, नहीं बनाएगा. क्योंकि उस घर के जो बच्चा है वो जो साइकिल चल रहा है वो लगातार एक कुपोषित बच्चे को जन्म देते जा रहा है. ना वो पढ़ पा रहा है और ना अच्छे ढंग से स्ट्रॉन्ग होकर अपना कोई काम कर पा रहा है, जिसके कारण से कुपोषण भी बरकरार है और गरीबी भी बरकरार है.
Belief in superstition, no trust in the medical infrastructure, and lack of access of fundamental rights are a deadly combination. that threatens the very existence of the tribes of India.
तुम भारत के नागरिक हो,
While
इसका
the country
पुष्टुम
fights today on the idea of citizenship, the first citizens of India wait to be treated with respect and dignity. India's tribals struggle today not for their lands and forests. Their most important battle today is for the right to exist. The first citizens of India ask the question, when will their lives be counted?